Hi, Uncle Thor here. Today I'm going to talk about something about the wonderful, exciting, and fun Hagal Rune. A rune of scattering, of suddenness, of spontaneity. A rune, of course, like a hailstone peppering, makes everyone run for cover. And we often look at this rune in a negative, that it is causing trouble. And that's a misnomer. All runes have both their beneficial and their destructive aspects. But it was Audrey, my wife, who picked this out first, and I thought it was pretty cool. We went to see this really wild science fiction movie called Valerian, and we saw it in 3D. That's the way to see it. I mean, it was special effects and everything. It was a lot of fun. But in one of the scenes in the movie, the hero is chasing a spaceship, and this spaceship is trying to get away. And from the rear, it looks like a big triangle. So they're gaining on this thing, and he starts firing on it. But what the spaceship does is really special, because instead of putting up deflector shields of firing back, it scatters. And this one ship turns into about 30 or 40 smaller ships, and they all scatter and run. And that's a really interesting aspect of Hagal, is scattering to evade capture, to avoid getting hurt, the idea that the pursuer can't chase everyone. And those people who have been in mischief in their younger days, I won't mention any names and I will not admit to anything today, know that when the cops show up, everybody scatters. Because sometimes they'll just stand there dumbfounded, like, well, why bother? And sometimes they can only go after one or two people. And by the time there's more of them that come chase people, everybody's gone. So that when things happen, that scattering is a defensive mechanism. Something's happening, scatter. Clear the area, every man for himself, everyone run every which way. So it's an interesting thing of Hagal as a defense of scattering, as a protection of scattering. And we see this also in some of the lower species on Earth, is that their whole survival is amount of numerous offspring, and these offspring scatter when they're pursued by a predator. You see it with toads, frogs, schools of fish even. That the school of fish, once it's approached by a shark, scatters. They all split. So he may only get one or two of them, but the school itself is relatively safe. They can join together again. The idea of a numbers game and the idea of scattering and numbers to avoid capture, to avoid becoming prey. So it's just an interesting thing to think about, because these runes have so many manifestations. And this one is really fascinating, especially if you and your friends have ever had to scatter to avoid getting caught. And think about this for a while. It's a lot of fun, especially if you know what mischief is. This is Uncle Thor. Have a good one.